Hello, gorgeous gray movement on YouTube. I am coming in with a hot new interview from a Canadian. Yay, Jassy, nice to connect.
Hi.
Thanks for being here. I always, of course, you guys know I'm Canadian. So when I do find a silver sister, that one is brave enough to get on camera, and not every woman is ready, and that is okay. But Jassy, she jumped in. She said, sign me up. This sounds great. And it was really neat when she said that, because she had also confirmed that she had just binge watched my channel.
I did.
So it kind of came at a perfect time where the universe put the two of us together. So, and you guys definitely need to follow her. I'm going to say she's a newbie. She's 10 months in. She's an artist. So you can follow her on Instagram with Silvery_Jassy, Jassy. And we will make sure to get the information in this video so that you can find her if you forget. Yeah, so she's 10 months in. She's a Canadian. You can see that her beautiful, I'm going to say silver, is blending in quite nicely with the blonde, and we're going to hear a little bit more about that. But let's dive in. Thank you again for being here, fellow Canadian. And we're probably a 5-hour drive away.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your journey. So let's talk a little bit about, you started back in August of 2022. So kind of, just at the end of the crazy, COVID and all of that stuff. And you just decided, let's do it. What was your story behind going to the other side?
Yeah, where I never thought I'd be. Okay, so my hair is naturally, well, no, now it's gray, but it's originally look, see, it's brown. It's pretty, it's not dark brown, but it's just brown. And it was like kind of ashy brown. I never really liked it so much. But anyway, so I always wanted blonde hair. Like that was all blonde. So when I was, I used peroxide, like when I was like 13 years old, and I went in the sun and I did everything to have blonde hair until my mom said, okay, let's take you to the hairdresser and you'll get. So from when I was I would say maybe 16, I was blonde. So everybody thought I was natural blonde, and that was my color. And then, I became brown hair. I got my natural color when I was like 20 until I had my daughter. Mm-hmm. And then when I had my daughter, I started having like crazy white hair. I think it's her fault, but anyway. So I would pluck them. And at some point I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. There's way too many. So I dyed it blonde because I knew I had to start dyeing again, and I wanted blonde hair. So, and I had like beautiful, like long curly, I would curl my hair. They're not naturally curly, but they have a wave. So they would stay like they were just like amazing hair. I love them. And so they were like that forever. I used the same box. I haven't gone to the hairdresser since my wedding. And that was in 1999. I've never seen a hairdresser since then, because I don't trust them. And so the same box, like the same color, my hair was fine, healthy, because my hair discolor very easily. Mm-hmm. So I never bleached it, never it was like fine. And then 5 years ago, I would say 5 years ago, my hair started changing. I didn't change anything about, and the blonde, which my blonde was kind of a golden, and it was changing, and I didn't change the color. And I noticed it started falling and it started breaking. And so I had to cut them. And at some point I was here, I'm like, what am I doing different? So I looked into, I have a thyroid problem. So I got my medication checked, everything was fine. Then my iron was low, like many of us when we hit like menopause, so I took iron pills, I got that fixed, and my hair was still falling and it wasn't the same, and I couldn't figure it out. So then I realized that maybe it's the hair dye, like at first I thought maybe they changed the recipe, it was never because But then I realized that I was dyeing my hair a lot more often than I used to. I used to go like maybe 2 months, without dyeing, because dark roots was, acceptable. Because but then when I started seeing a lot of silver, I'm like, okay, no, I gotta take that away, which didn't probably even show much, but I didn't want it. So I would dye every like maybe even 2 weeks. Like I was at that much because it was a box dye, it's about $8. Who cares, So I'm like, okay, last thing, I have to stop dyeing my hair and see if that works. I'm like, okay, I'll give it 2 months and it's probably not that. So I stopped and my hair stopped falling. Like it just started growing, and I'm like, okay, well, that's it. Like I was at the point where I was gonna have either short blonde hair or long gray hair, and I chose long gray hair.
Wow.
So that's it. So it wasn't at the beginning. It wasn't a statement or anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't like to say, oh, but now it is. Now it's
Now it is. Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
have to follow her because she, with her background in being an artist, her pictures are very flattering and you get to see a lot of the contrast. But I love the story. So what I heard was, hair was falling out. You went to first off go deep to find out from a health perspective. So checked out thyroid, checked out iron, hair was still falling out. So you're digging deeper. What else could it be? And then you landed on, oh my gosh, it's the box dye, which is, ladies, full of chemicals. And after a while, things start to break down. Just like if we put chemicals in our body starts to break down. So I love that story. I'm a nutritionist, so I geek out on all of this stuff. So this is a great story, and this will be a really good interview and a story to wake women up that are sitting on the fence, that are struggling. Because some of the biggest things I get on a daily basis is, hey, Nicole, what should I do? My hair is falling out.
I know, right?
So,
and I think it's a lot like, is it a big reason why older women with gray hair that dyes their hair have short hair? Like, is it just a trend, or they can't keep long, like dyed? I guess if you dye your hair darker, it's not as like damaging as what I was putting on my hair, but still it's damaging. So
it's still damaging. And when I wrote my book and I studied the different dyes and stuff, actually the dark hair, especially the to get on your roots, is actually the more dangerous and cancerous than the light.
There you go.
Yeah. So, okay, ladies. So there you go. So that was her journey, right? She wanted to have healthy hair, and it kind of went ding, ding, ding. And then, okay, let's continue. So then how did you decide to transition? Because a lot of women go, did you chop it? Did you shave it? I don't think you shaved it. Did you decide to, so just explain your process, because a lot of women decide on whatever feels right for them. So what was your choice of transition?
Well, before I stopped the dye by accident, I kind of I fell on an Instagrammer. She had and I was just following her to see what would happen. Like, it was a long time ago, and I'm like, what, is she crazy? What's she doing? So it was curiosity, and then I'm like, hey, that's cool. That's a thing. So I got thinking, and I liked what she was doing. She was measuring, like she had the tape measurer.
Oh,
Like, oh, that's cool. So that's just, seriously, I was already blonde, so it was easy. Like, there was, it was just let it grow. At the beginning, I thought, like, when I would go out in public, I'm like, oh my God, everybody's looking at me. It's shining. And the sun was my enemy, because it would just sparkle. But then I look at pictures from back then. I'm like, you couldn't see anything. It was all in my head, totally all in my head.
Yeah, let's talk about the all in your head, because I think that so many women get in their head about, oh my gosh, I'm going to look older. Oh my gosh, nobody will want to date me if they're single. Oh my gosh, I'm going to look like a grandma. Oh, and I mean, we play stories. So how did you overcome those first few months where so many women, we put stories in our head and it either freaks us out and we decide not to do it? What kept you going?
I think the Instagram, like really,
Mm,
if Instagram wasn't there and Facebook, but mostly Instagram, I find because it's easier to
yeah.
um I don't think I could have done it. I
Yeah.
don't think so. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I guess that's just it. And I don't know how. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just it's weird. You start doing it, and then you're just doing it.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, you know what? It's those few like months that people are gonna think, oh, she's letting herself go. She.
Yeah.
And then once you pass that, it's like, yes, I'm doing it. And I actually felt like when I was 13, I was at a Catholic school with nuns, and they would tell you, don't wear makeup, wear your hair like, it has to be normal, wear the skirt like this long. And I did the opposite, because there was no reason like makeup. So I would like put red lipstick and I shaved my head like all around. And because just to prove that there's no reason for you to tell me not to do that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that. I like it now. It's personal. Like I said, it's like, you're going to tell me I have to dye my hair. I'm just not going to dye it.
Yeah. I love it. So do you feel like a little bit of a badass?
I do. And I have felt like that since before I had my daughter, because I had to become a mother and like what,
Yeah.
I had to show it. But now I'm back.
I love it. I love it. And it's so hard to explain to a woman until you go through it in regards to kind of being a little bit of a badass. I don't know. I go out to the world and I walk more confident, like my authentic self. Like, I walked the other day into the grocery store and I just had my hair up in a crazy messy bun, and most of the time I do not wear makeup. Today I put a little bit of like some gloss on, but just really natural, right? So I was out there and this young woman, like early 30s, like, oh my gosh, your hair color is so gorgeous. And my daughter's like, wow, mom, like you really should be so proud of yourself because you are showing up so unique, because so many, women of your age would never do what you're doing. And I'm like, damn right, girl, I am so proud. It is a movement. And then you can't see, I'm going to show you my shirt, but it's
I bought that. I have that shirt.
right.
I did. I was going to wear it today.
And so I just went, I saw myself at the gym. I haven't been in the gym in a very long time. And an older lady was sitting there and she goes, can you just stop for a second? I'm trying to read your t-shirt. And then she read it and she just had this big smile on her face. So I just love this movement that we are a part of. And I just, want to say thank you so much for being part of this movement, because I'm looking at this as paying it forward to the younger generation that will show up at a place where in their 20s, they have to decide if they're going to die, and they'll see all of us going, well, if Jazzy did it, if Nicole did it, they've laid the foundation of women truly showing up in their authentic self and really squashing the social belief that we have to show up a certain way, that the magazines want us to, that the TV, that the men want us to show up. We're going to show up the way that we want to show up and create our own rules, right?
Right, for sure. For sure. We're doing it. My daughter's 21 and she's totally proud of me, and her friends too. They're all like, oh my God, your hair, it's so amazing. And then they see me in person and they're like, oh, you're really doing it, as if I'm not really doing it.
Yeah.
It's weird. They're like,
wearing a wig
until they see me in person, but it's the same person. It's weird.
I love that. So how is this journey changing you? It's been 10 months. Do you feel like you're changing a bit? Do you feel like has anything shifted for you mindset wise? Are you feeling more alive, or, how would you describe the last 10 months?
Well, my husband actually told me that he sees that I'm happier since I started doing this. Yeah, I was surprised that he said that. And I think it's because I have something, it changed me. I was always very confident, so that didn't really change. What changed was I have something passionate about, So I take a lot. I used to take no pictures of myself ever. Like I had stopped that a long time ago. And now I take pictures of myself, and that's changed. I guess I'm more confident now. That really changes when you start taking pictures of yourself.
Yeah.
You see yourself, and you're like, okay, I'm okay. I'm not
Yeah.
fast, I'm not over the hill or whatever. So that's changed. I guess I'm happier. I can't explain
Yeah.
why. Yeah. It's just hair, right? But it's not.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
am.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hair, but it's not. I mean, you interview 100 women and you ask them if they had a choice of going gray or not, you would probably get at least 75% that would say, no, I would dye my hair. Right. I think I did a survey a few years ago when I was in the depths of my research, and yeah, it was like, nope. Even if it was to say that it caused cancer, would you still dye it? And I was so shocked about the number of women that said, absolutely, there's no way I will go to my grave not with gray hair. And I'm like, wow, like it is such a polarized, but like you said, so grateful for the Instagram, so grateful for the heroes. I call them my silver heroes that went before us,
Yeah.
that gave us permission, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gave us permission to
Yeah.
do that. So
Totally.
good.
Yeah, because before that, it wasn't even like you didn't even know you had a choice, really.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing. You wouldn't even think about not dyeing your hair.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
weird. Hey, the way my mind totally shifted, like things that I thought was impossible is not anymore.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's almost like the Matrix. We were in the Matrix and now we've come
We
out
see
of the
clear.
Matrix,
Now we
waking us
see.
up. Exactly. So last question here. As women are kind of going to watch this video, give us feedback, you're going to inspire many. They're sitting on the fence. What would be that advice you would give the woman that is like, I want to do it, but what would you say to her?
Well, just do it, right? And like give yourself a couple months, and
Mhm.
see. And if you don't like it, for sure, dye it back.
Yeah.
But the thing that I would do different is I would prepare my entourage. I don't know how you say that. My people, like my daughter, my husband, people that are close to me, my support group. I would
Yeah.
prepare them because like we prepare ourselves. We look at pictures on Instagram. We search, we read about it. When I got to do it, I was pretty much prepared. They
Mhm.
weren't. Well, my daughter, I would talk to her about that a lot, but my
Mhm.
husband, my mother, they weren't prepared for that. It's like I was saying, we don't even know it's a choice we have, because we never heard about it.
Yeah.
And then you just go one day and, okay, I'm stopping the dye. My hair is going to get gray. They're like, oh, but if you show them the pretty girls, you show
Yeah.
them why, you show them the health, everything. And then you tell them I'm going to do it. They're
Mhm.
prepared, and then they'll support you.
Yeah.
Because my husband at the beginning, like he's in the fashion industry, he's in
Yeah.
the beauty business,
Okay.
and I hadn't prepared him. And he's like, oh no, don't do it,
Yeah.
obviously. But then I started telling him and he's like, yeah. And now he's like my biggest fan. Like he even goes to
Oh.
other women that have a little gray and they're like, oh, you're letting your hair go gray. And they're like, no. And he's all for it. He thinks it's so cool now.
Oh, that
But
is so
prepare
great.
your people because you can do it without the support of your close people, but
Yeah.
it's so much easier with the support.
Yeah.
So yeah, just educate them about
I
it.
love that. I never did that either. So that's some really great advice when I
Yeah.
think about it, because my kids were freaked out. My partner, even though he said he was like, whatever, I'll support
Yeah.
you. I knew that there was a level of hesitation there for sure, because we were just new in dating. And I had met him with this long, dark hair, right? That I think he was like, oh, I love your hair. And then the next thing you know, I'm turning it to bleach blonde and it looks orange the next day. And he's like,
Yeah.
every month your hair is a different color. Like, what did I sign up for?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's hard. You went through harder time than me. Me, it was much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But I'm glad I went through the journey because I get to share and educate, right? The
Yeah.
the, the
Yeah.
ups and downs of it. Hmm.
Yeah. We need the We need that.
We need the drastic stories. We need the drama
We
stories.
do. I feel I'm like a fraud sometimes, because
Yeah.
like I see all the other girls that black and white, and I
Mhm.
think it's so beautiful. But this is me, that I was like that. So
Yeah.
my story. But
That's
there's others like me. Like sometimes I post and they're like, oh, your story is so similar to my story.
yeah.
So
So good. Well, there's a lot of women out there that I know are, sitting on the fence. They're been watching my channel. And I know that, one interview at a time, I know that we end up collectively bringing more people into our beautiful movement. So Jazzy, thank you so much for being brave and
you.
confident and, brave to share your story out there to the world. And I know that you will definitely inspire that woman that maybe, felt uncomfortable or has always been a blonde, and the freak out of blonde to gray. Actually, right off the bat, I think of my best friend. I totally want to send her this interview because you remind me of her. She's got kind of the same length of hair. She's been a blonde since I've known her, since our kids were babies. And she does exactly your story, the box, and guess what's happening to her hair?
It's falling, really.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep. And
And
so,
like it's amazing. Like I have an undercoat now.
yeah.
My hair is like it's like like double the size here than here.
Yeah.
It's
Wow. That
it's
is incredible. Did you hear
crazy.
that? An undercoat. So again,
I call it my undercoat. I can't
yeah.
even curl my hair anymore because it's like big here and I
Yeah.
just have little hair here.
So good. Oh, wait, just imagine how thick in 2 or 3 years we're going to be following you. We're going to be witnessing it.
I'm
You're
here
going to,
for a long time.
right? Yeah, it's gonna be a good few years for sure. But once it's out there, you're gonna have that thick, beautiful, healthy hair. So awesome. Well, thank you, women, for tuning into the Gorgeous Gray Movement YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure that you do, because you'll get the notification of the next new interview. And if this inspires you, or you think of a woman that has been having this conversation or losing her hair or doing the box dye, make sure that you pass this interview along. It might just be the story that she needs to hear to make a different decision when it comes to her hair color. So thank you, everybody. And thank you so much, Jazzy, for your time.
Thank you, Nicole. Bye-bye.